What's up everyone, Savage Gamer here, and this is my review for the Light Brigade by Funtronic Labs. This review is from my physical collector's edition and using version 2.7. This is not the original release version, as some patches and updates have been implemented. So how does it hold up in its current state? Before we find out, if you could take a second to like and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. I'm a small channel and I need your help to grow. If you enjoy honest, non-woke gaming content, consider your subscription. Now let's get into this review. Light Brigade is a roguelite first-person shooter set in several smaller open-world segments. Once you clear all the enemies in one section, you can unlock the next by praying to the door. Yes, physically praying, or at least placing your hands in a praying mannerism. This is a fundamental part of this game, as you will need to pray to fallen friends in order to capture their souls to free them and to proceed on to the next level, and at other pivotal moments throughout the game. As with most roguelike games, you may die several times, but will keep some of your earned upgrades. And taking a page right out of Dark Souls, if you die once, you have the option to make it back to where you died in order to reclaim your souls again, by praying. However, if you die again before making it to this point, you are dead. There are also hidden treasures and traps found throughout each open world section, along with tarot cards, which you can select one of 3 options that will give you buffs or stat upgrades. Then you can select a new card on top of any that you've already accumulated each time you locate one of these treasure chests. Now, as far as any negatives are concerned, I've had a few, but not many. I'd say the most annoying would be what I would call aim drift. However, there's obviously no aim utilized here, so I guess it's just poor tracking at times, which can be extremely frustrating when in the heat of battle and your gun decides to go all fucking wonky on you. Another issue I continually encountered is the teleportation. Doesn't always work as intended. You may select, or at least attempt to select, to go in one direction, only to be transported in a totally different area, which again can become irate-inducing when in the midst of a battle. And finally, my biggest complaint of all is there's forced snap turning, which I absolutely fucking hate. There are several options within the settings menu, however, there's nothing to turn off snap turning or adjust the intervals. You are just stuck with snap turning as your only means of turning. While they do allow for smooth locomotion, however, there is no run or sprint option, only a crouch option, which is also kinda shitty, as the movement speed is incredibly slow, forcing you to mostly resort to using the teleportation method of movement, or crawl at a snail's pace while trying to seek cover in order to avoid enemy fire. I've also noticed that there is quite a bit of pop-in that appears, as if the developers have attempted to hide it by using a thick fog layer of cover. But regardless, it is still noticeable if you're paying attention. Now, moving on to level design. Some of the levels look pretty great. I'm under the impression it's rendering them procedurally. However, after multiple playthroughs, there isn't a whole lot of diversity within each individual level's design. The starting areas always look basically the same, so I can only assume that the procedural generation applies to either the loot or enemies more than the actual levels themselves. Now, each area is distinct, but again, after multiple playthroughs, you become familiar with what levels are coming up next, albeit a wooded area or broken bridges on the cliffs area, etc. The boss battles are also pretty great for the most part. They do add something more than just typical enemy designs that, aren't as challenging, and they do ramp it up a bit for the boss battles, which I appreciate. You can also acquire weapon mods such as laser sights, muzzle brakes, and silencers, even charms that provide magical damage. However, you lose all of them each time that you die, and they are provided to you by the soldiers you locate on the battlefield sporadically. Light Brigade to me feels like In Death, but with guns and less randomized level design. They can be highly addicting and at times highly frustrating as well. Some of my deaths did feel unfair due to my gun's tracking just not working correctly or teleport thrusting me in the wrong direction unexpectedly. All in all, I did have more fun with Light Brigade than frustration. It just has that one more attempt addiction going for it. With all that said, I'm giving Light Brigade a 7 out of 10, with a few updates to hone in the tracking so it's more reliable and maybe allow a smooth turning ability. It would easily be an 8 out of 10, but those issues are, for me, what I feel is really holding it back from being a better experience. Hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure to subscribe. Till next time, have fun, stay savage, keep it. Peace.